welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Rachel. In today's video, I paired up with Nire from Stories with Nire, and we each picked 2 books from each other's 2026 reads, and we gave them to one another to read. I will insert Nita's video here so you guys can watch and see what she picks for me.
Hi, Rachel. After looking through your list, I was able to pick 2 books that I'm hoping you are going to really enjoy. The first one is Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, because I know that you have really been wanting to read this book. I've seen you put it on different TBRs, and I know it is a book that you really want to read, so I am going to make you read it. So that is going to be my first pick. And for the second book, I decided on Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins, because I recently finished reading the original Hunger Games trilogy and I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to go in and read the prequels. So I am really excited to know your thoughts on this book. So those are the 2 books that I decided to choose from your list. So hopefully you enjoy them, and I'm very curious to see what 2 books you pick for me.
So, Nita picked a book that I have been putting on my TBR month after month, and that is Vampires of El Norte. I have started this book, and so far, so good. I am absolutely loving it. Isabel Cañas is a beautiful writer, and I'm loving that she is also a Hispanic author, and I'm getting to read a little sprinkling of stuff in Spanish. As someone who is Latina, I know I don't look it, but I am, I promise. I have a goal of reading a book in Spanish in 2026, and not that this book is in Spanish, but it's just a little sprinkling of that, getting me ready for hopefully a full book. Don't expect a full-length novel or anything, but hopefully something. So far, this book is absolutely fantastic, and then at the end, we'll come together and we'll discuss. The next book that Nita picked for me is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This book, I have been putting it off because I was absolutely terrified of the emotional devastation that this book would bring to me. Was I wrong? No. This book is so sad, but so good. I don't know what to say about this book. You'll see me reading this, and I read it so fast that I only have a handful of clips. But yeah, wow. Nire, you got me to read 2 books that I've been putting off, but dang. This one, so sad. Okay, so I am so nervous about this book. I am barely on chapter 4, and I can already tell, and like the whole reason I haven't started reading this book yet is because I know it's gonna just make me bawl my eyes out. I mean, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes made me cry, so I just know that this book is just gonna destroy me. And already, like I said, I'm on chapter 4, I'm like maybe 50 pages in, and I already have a handful of tabs. If you've already read The Hunger Games, or if you have seen the movies, this book is about Haymitch, and like I said, if you've read or seen The Hunger Games, you know his demeanor and the way that he acts, and you know that like terrible things happen to him, obviously. He's in the Hunger Games, you know. But seeing how he is as a child, like as a kid, I mean, he's a little bit older, 16, 17 or something like that. Seeing him at that age and the way that he's described, and like, it's just everything about him then versus how he is in the now is heartbreaking. Like, it is just absolutely devastating. I haven't cried, but there have been times where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that is just so sad, and I'm just not ready for it. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I cannot put it down. I started it earlier today, and I've already, like, I cannot put it down, but I'm just not ready. Like, mentally and emotionally, I'm not ready to read this book. But it has to be done, you know. I can't go forever without reading this book. Like, I just can't, you know, especially as like a fan of the Hunger Games. I couldn't do it. So thank you, Nita. I'm not ready. Also, I just got out of the shower, so that's why my hair is like all crazy and wet. I'm happy to be back in the world because I love the characters and I love their strength and what they represent, but I'm also, like I keep saying, so sad. Those are my updates. So I'm about 120 pages in and I just wanted to check back in because already I'm like not well. This book is sad and I'm only 120 pages in. I still have so much more to go. I think I said this in like the last time I checked in, but obviously bad things are happening to them. They're in the Hunger Games, but it really just shows you how much these people, I mean, I know they're characters, but you know, like when you read, you really connect with people, connect with characters, and they feel like real people. They feel like people that you care about, which is part of the reason why I think so many of us love reading so much, is because we're able to connect with people. And just the anticipation of reading what Haymitch is going to go through to get him to be the person that he is in the original trilogy. I just don't know if I'm mentally or emotionally prepared for that. This book is just crazy. It's wild. So I have to take a moment. This book is so sad. So I haven't cried, but that's only because I'm gonna cry right now talking about it. I really wanted to read this book. Like I thought, oh, I'll start it, and almost at the end of the year. I think I started it like yesterday, the day before that, so the 29th or something. And I was like, I'll take my time with it, it'll take me a little while to get through. It's a really emotional read. No, it's been 3 days and I cannot stop reading this book. So I got the audiobook and I've been listening to it on my way to and from work, and I listened to it while I was at work today. And I'm almost done now. I'm like 85% of the way through this book. I just got to chapter 25 or 26. The chapters are kind of long. Yeah, I'm almost done, okay? I was driving home from work and it's raining today. And I was listening to this book. The amount of times my hand like flew to my mouth and I audibly, like out loud, like gasped. I think if I was home sitting down like reading this book with my eyeballs, like sobbing, I would have been sobbing. But because I was driving, it was raining, I don't know, I think my brain was like, you can't start sobbing, you're driving. But literally, like, I want to go back, like once I finish it, I kind of want to go back and just kind of like skim read the last half, just so I can also go through and tab like all the parts that really stood out to me, because oh my goodness, the emotional turmoil that I have felt while reading this book. I mean, oh gosh, I don't know how Suzanne Collins does it, because every single book, I'm pretty sure I have teared up in or cried. Like, not Sunrise Reaping, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I cried. I know people are like, that book, I don't know. That book is interesting because obviously it's about Snow and we hate him. But it was also just really emotional, and I know you're not supposed to like him, and I don't like him, but... And I also can't say that I understand him either, because he's literally a psycho, but you get a glimpse into his life and, what happened to him and everything. And so that book did, like, make me cry. But this book, it's just so crazy because the entire time I'm thinking about Haymitch, and I'm envisioning Haymitch and the person that he is now, like in the world of the current Hunger Games books. And it's so detached from who he is as a character in this book and his personality. Like, I cannot in a million years imagine Haymitch of now acting like this. And it's so crazy because they did that to him, like the Capitol did that to him. And it's just, he lost so much. And I'm not even done with this book. I did not think I was going to devour this book in 3 days. I did not think it was going to happen. I thought that my 2025 year was going to end at 100 books, and I think it might end at 101 because I cannot put this book down. How does this book keep getting more and more sad? I'm almost at the end. I'm like 95% of the way through this book. not okay. The way that she writes is so beautiful. Like, even in this one sentence, he says, I'm afraid I don't understand. He said, dragging the words slow over coal, letting them burn and blacken. Like, what? He could have just said, or she could have just written something like, he was upset, or something like that, you know? But instead she writes this, and it's beautiful. Like, the rest of the next sentence is, I'm afraid I don't understand, Don Felix, he said, dragging the words slow over coal, letting them burn and blacken. Let Don Felix hear the anger curling the edges of what he said, like kindling about to catch flame. Amazing. Okay, so I finished Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. Thank you, Nire, because I have been wanting to read this book for forever. It's been on my shelf and on my TBR multiple times, and I finally finished it. I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Isabel Cañas is a beautiful writer. Her prose are immaculate. She writes in a way that when you're reading it, it literally takes you out of your world and like really puts you into the world of her characters and the world that she's written. And this story is beautiful but devastating. It is definitely a book that crosses genres. I think it's primarily marketed as horror, but I feel like it also is a romance and a mystery thriller. Like, there are so many elements to this story, and I feel that she did all of them so well. The only reason that my rating isn't higher is because the main character, Nena, I just felt like for most of the book, she kind of portrayed a little bit of your typical romance female main character. She had a lot of doubt in herself, which I understand is part of the story to get her to a place where she feels confident and strong and she's able to be this person that she needs to be. But because I was going into it kind of expecting more of like this horror story, strong characters, I don't know, it kind of threw me off. And there's a trope in here that I just cannot stand when it comes to romance. And I don't want to say it because I don't think it'll be a spoiler necessarily, because on the back of the book, it does talk about 9 years ago. Like, it says that 9 years have passed from the beginning of the story to the second half of the story. But I'm not going to say it because I want people to go into it more blind. And if you want to look more into the book, you definitely can. But Yeah, that trope and Nina's point of view sometimes were not my favorite. I loved the mailman character's point of view. I thought he was a fantastic character. I thought that he really developed and grew as a character, which I also felt like Nina did, but only at the end. And it really disappointed me because I thought that she was going to get there sooner. And then she kind of like took a step back. And I don't know, wasn't my favorite. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the the narrative of the story. I enjoyed Isabel Canya's writing. I enjoyed the book, and I'm so happy that I got it off my TBR and then I read it. And I definitely will be reading more of Isabel Canya's stories. I don't know when because I have a very extensive TBR and I'm trying to read my physical TBR this year. But I will 100% be picking up more of Isabel Canya's writing in the future. I really, really enjoyed this book. And thank you, Nire, for making me read it. So for Sunrise on the Reaping, I actually lent it to my mom so she could read it. So I don't have the physical book with me, but I wanted to kind of dive in and talk about this book a little bit more. I know I touched on it earlier, but Image is, I think, such an invaluable character. Once you read this book, you understand the way that his mind works is so crazy. The way that he views himself, he views the capital, he views his family back in 12, and just everything. Spoilers if you haven't read The Hunger Games, but he's a drunk in the original trilogy. And when you start to read this book, it just like it doesn't make sense. Nothing connects until literally the very end. At the very end of the story is when it all comes together and connects. I mean, throughout the story, you're obviously getting pieces of it all and you're getting the games and everything. But at the end is really when you understand why he is the way that he is and why Suzanne Collins wrote him the way that she did. And it's really sad. Like, it's devastating the things that he went through. Yeah, I think that his story is so important to this series. And if you have not read The Hunger Games or are thinking about reading it, you definitely should. It's sad and it's kind of scary, but I definitely think that it is a very important piece of literature to read. And if you are thinking about reading it, you definitely should. The last line before the epilogue literally had me bawling my eyes out. Thank you, Nire, for doing this video with me. I am so happy to have finally read these two books since they were books that were just constantly on my TBRs that I, was never picking up because I was scared of them. Yeah, so I'm glad that you finally made me read them. And I hope that you enjoyed your books that I gave you. If you guys want to check out Nita's video, she should already have it up and posted. I will have her channel down below. Definitely check her out. She posts so much more than I do and so much more consistently than I do. So you should definitely check out her content. And she also posts on TikTok and on Instagram with the same handle, Stories with Nita. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content from me, I post every Wednesday and Friday. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.